Headline: I lost over $450,000 US dollars. I cannot pay the bank. I will lose my home soon. I'll become homeless. Suicide is the only way out for me. The vast majority of people who commit suicide, the vast majority of people who attempt suicide, will not write a post on Reddit, will not enter into a lengthy discussion of their reasons for committing suicide on Twitter. The real number of dead bodies will remain forever unknown. Nobody will ever trace the web of tenuous connections of cause and effect that link YouTubers like myself, social media personalities like myself, who encouraged this kind of reckless gambling in cryptocurrencies, to the dead bodies, lost fortunes, and ruined lives that resulted from this strange game we play in pursuit of money, fame, power, respect, sex. Headline: I lost $15,000. I really believed in this project. So sad. Yup, I lost $15,000. I should have cashed out when it was at 100. Then I would have been up by 25,000. But I got greedy, hoping to get more money so I can at least afford a down payment on a house for my family. I guess no house and no savings then. Update: I already told my husband. He says he's hoping it will recover, but if not, it is what it is. I'm just grateful I have a very understanding husband and adorable kids. Hoping it will all get better after this expensive lesson is over. This person says simply, they lost everything gambling on Luna, which is at this time of writing down by 90%. Quote, I lost all my life savings. Had bought Luna at $85. Not sure what to do. Lost around $5,000. It might be a small amount for some, but it was all I had. Someone, please advise as to what I should do next.
I want to tell you guys how I'm investing my first $1,000 into cryptocurrencies. Usually I'm not somebody to put money into something that I'm, afraid of losing. Like I rarely will invest on something that's highly volatile, but I've recently gotten this money. I've already really enjoyed reading about Bitcoin, and I've been waiting to put $1,000 into Bitcoin since Bitcoin was at $5,000. This is my cryptocurrency journey, basically. This is me updating you guys, probably bi-weekly, maybe once a month, what I'm doing with my investments, what my plan is, what I've heard in the cryptocurrency, industry and news and everything like that, and how that has affected how I'm going to invest and all that kind of stuff. What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about Bitcoin's recent crash and why this is actually extremely bullish news, and why this is actually something that is going to project it way higher over the course of this year, because a lot of people are fudding right now, freaking out. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt is going all over Reddit, and if you are someone who, looks on those community forums, right now, if you don't have strong hands, it might be pretty convincing that you should sell.
How much more money could I have if I played the same game Brian Turner plays? How much more money could I personally have made in just, say, the last 5 years if I were willing to play the same game James Aspey played, Blast from the Past, Jason Pizzino played? A whole lot of YouTubers, far more than I could possibly name, far more than I've ever spoken to or communicated with myself, have managed to get rich, while others got poor, playing this strange game that preys upon people's optimism and credulity.
Usually I'm not somebody to put money into something that I'm, afraid of losing. Like I rarely will invest on something that's highly volatile. Because of my age though, I can be very risky with my investments. So my net worth at the current moment is somewhere around
$350,000, $400,000. I probably would have to go tally it all up exactly, but it's somewhere around that level. This is just something I've been thinking about lately, and I just wanted to put it on video real quick. I know this is a short video, but I just wanted to make this point. For me, I'm already so sold on Bitcoin that I would bet anything. In fact, I've bet most of my net worth, over 80% of my net worth, on Bitcoin. So what's my plan? How am I getting to $1 million? Well, it's pretty simple, at least the primary plan. Primary plan is to not care at all about everybody's emotional scariness and telling me that I'm an idiot and having money in the cryptocurrency market. I truly believe that Bitcoin will be past 6 figures relatively soon. Now, where we are right now, I think that Bitcoin will be able to get to $100,000 within the next 6 months. Basically, my plan is that I'm going to sell about 40 to 60% of my Bitcoin as we hit certain price targets.
Everyone, listen up. You didn't lose your money. Now, you have your... Technically, you kind of lost your money.
There was a time when we had freedom of speech on YouTube. I'm old enough to remember when that was. I can remember when YouTube was a much more dangerous and frankly toxic place. And yes, it was thrilling. And I can remember the crowds, the multitudes in their millions, screaming out for justice because of the lack of ethics in video game journalism. You remember what I'm talking about here, guys? When it was revealed, the extent to which the people we were trusting to review and evaluate video games, in fact, were to some extent in the pocket of the video game industry. That this was not, in fact, a completely detached, analytical, cerebral evaluation of the video games from the perspective of a skeptical outsider. We were, in fact, being fed video game reviews by people who were very much puppets of the industry themselves. Puppetry. It's an evocative image, isn't it? What are the strings that link YouTubers to the stock market? What are the strings that link YouTubers to the phenomenon of cryptocurrency, of Bitcoin? There is no equivalent to the big evil video game corporation doling out bribes or sending out emails to manipulate people and, making sure the reviews are nuanced in a certain way. In many ways, the crypto phenomenon is a sort of headless beast with 1,000 eyes in one. And nevertheless, we now have a controversy of a much, much greater scale with much, much more important consequences. And I find that there's none of the same sense of moral outrage there. When people find out a YouTuber has been doing food reviews and they're somehow bribed, they're somehow connected to the particular restaurant or the food manufacturer, they're outraged. And what are the consequences? What really are the consequences? When people find out that some attractive female YouTuber who does a try-on haul, a sexy clothes try-on haul video where they wear these clothes and parade them around and they review or evaluate the clothes, then they find out somehow this woman was being paid by the company that made the clothes, the company that made the bathing suits, whatever it was. Outrage. Even if the audience didn't really buy anything, they just clicked on the video thinking it was something other than an advertisement, and they now find out they've been advertised to. The Bitcoin phenomenon, right? The cryptocurrency phenomenon. The people who are making these YouTube videos themselves, do they know the extent to which they're puppets? Do they know what the strings are that are being pulled? Are they aware that what they're doing is something more like an advertisement and less like an authentic or genuine form of analysis? To what extent are these people the exploiters of their audiences? And to what extent are they themselves also unwitting victims?
So this test flight was coming up, and it was the weekend before this weekend. And unfortunately, they had to delay the test flight. So the price was at 55, and what was going to happen basically is if that test flight was successful last weekend, that stock price was going to shoot up. I bet you $75, $80, something like that, possibly even more. It's one of the biggest ones in my portfolio. Honestly, my price target for this stock is at least $100 by the end of this year. More realistically, I do just want to be conservative right there, but what I really think this stock is going to do is 150 or 200, possibly even more.
I think it's natural that we want to believe there's going to be some kind of karmic retribution whereby those who do evil deeds will endure terrible consequences. And I note Brian Turner claimed that he had more than 80% of his net worth in cryptocurrency. So you could indulge in the fantasy that he's lost 80% of his money also, or something like that. You might have heard James Aspey speaking rather more vaguely about how he just put all the money he possibly could into cryptocurrency, including selling his van and then taking that money and put it in. But strangely, none of these people have come out to bare their hearts, bare their souls, share their disappointments and sorrows as the advice they gave others that inevitably bankrupted others would have, if they'd followed that advice, bankrupted or seriously impoverished the people giving that advice themselves. Yeah, this is the thing. Since the first day I got on YouTube, what I've seen is people saying, go ahead, drop out of university. Go ahead, drop out of high school. And the people saying this, they're not taking any risk by hyping you up and giving you this advice and encouragement. I've seen people giving the most ridiculous advice about weight loss, muscle gain, stardom, fame, various ways to make money. Even, frankly, teaching English as a second language as a way to make money. Even learning Asian languages as a way to make money. Learn Japanese, learn Chinese, and all the money you can supposedly make out of being a polyglot. Quite a few strange fantasies I've seen peddled. And for the person giving the advice, and quite possibly just pursuing money, fame, power, respect, sex, just pursuing success here on YouTube or around the internet, on social media, there's no risk. There's no possibility of negative consequence for the person doing the broadcasting.
We wish every hater were making money.
Yeah, of
We're
course.
making a lot of money, so they wouldn't have any reason to complain about James making money.
It doesn't really matter how much money you make or how much money you have.
People are talking that I have millions of dollars, $1 to $5 million a year. The screenshot that people are sharing around that is evidence of this is a completely baseless website with no fact checking, and I can tell you how I know that 100% because I don't make anywhere near that much money and I never have. But I hope to. That would be awesome.
I'm not asking you for a large financial contribution. If it costs $20 to sub, $20 is quite a bit of money. $20 is you can get a full meal for $20. And the difference of $20 and eating a meal is in that $20.
Why activists need to be poor?
Yeah.
When we're talking about social media, if you are living a great life, a really great life, a life that most people can't live, you are going to attract vegans and countless non-vegans. Probably one of the best things you could do in terms of activism is get very rich and famous, live it up, and influence your tens of millions of followers to go vegan. I'm striving to do that.
I've got to level with you guys. I'm a caveman. I was literally frozen in ice. I grew up and was born in the Bronze Age, and then I thawed out in Toronto in the 1970s. I'm a caveman. I'm not from the 21st century. My sense of justice, my sense of right and wrong belongs to another millennium entirely. When I look at people like Brian Turner, I think there should be consequences. I think there should be terrible, unspeakable consequences for what he did, because I think it's dishonest, disgusting, evil, and wrong. And I think there should be consequences above all else so that other people will be deterred, so that they won't imitate and do again what it is that he's done. When I look at James Aspey, when I look at what James Aspey did, what he did to the vegan movement, what he did to all his followers, what he did in relation to these types of crypto investment scams, however you want to describe them, I think there should be consequences. And it seems that in the 21st century, in holding this opinion, I am all alone. When people do evil deeds, and there's just no connection between those terrible, vile things they've done and the consequences for real people in the real world, the victims, wherever they are, when it's hard to trace, it's hard to see, it's not something as simple as a robbery or a fist fight. What do we do? What do we do as a culture, as a society? We legislate. We write legislation. We create laws to draw a dotted line between cause and effect so that we can fool ourselves into thinking there's some justice in the world. And so that in future there will be some deterrent to prevent this from ever happening.